Hello everyone, Sean Iverson here from PickleballSignUpHub.com. Today I'm going to show you how to set up and run a ladder league. First of all, what is a ladder league? Well, let's start off with the definition of a league. A league is just a series of two or more events that are connected to each other. And a ladder league is just a special type of league where you can move up or down in your beginning position in the league based on how well you do each week in the round robin event. So with Pickleball Sign Up Hub, you would record the scores after each league event, ladder league event, and Sign Up Hub would calculate where you ranked on your particular court based on your round robin results. And then it would also determine where you would then move to in the new calculation of everybody's positioning in the entire ladder league. So if you do well in your round robin, you would most likely go up. If you don't do so well, you would go down. But then, of course, the following week you have an opportunity to redeem yourself. And the objective being that by the end of the league, you're hoping to get up as far as you can to the top of the ladder and be the ultimate winner or winners. So that's the general concept behind the ladder league. As I said, as long as you enter the scores after each league event, Sign Up Hub will do all that calculating for you and keep track of where everybody is in the ladder. So let's go ahead and just have a look at how you set that up and run it from week to week. I am going to start by clicking the hamburger in the top right hand corner so that I can go into the admin area. And once I'm over in admin, I can then slide down to leagues. And what I've done here is to try to create a summary of the things that you need to do to initially set up the league itself, and then what you need to do after each event and before each event, and then after the final event. Leagues aren't something we do all the time in our club. It's something we do once or twice a year. Each league is maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks long. So it's easy to forget what you need to do to set up a league. So these instructions should be a really good reminder of what needs to be done each time you run a new league. Some of these things, like the first couple here, they can be done once only, and it's something you never have to do again. So this might look more ominous than it is, but let's work through it step by step, and I'll show you exactly what is entailed. So the first step is, if you haven't already done so, create a rating type code called Ladder League. Okay, so I have already done that, but let me just show you what a rating type code looks like. We can go to Setup, and then we can go to Rating Type, and we can look at the Ladder League that I've created. And there's not much to it. You just give it a description, and almost always it's just going to be called Ladder League. You can create it exactly like this one. The status would be active. The calculation method is Ladder League, and the rating field number to update will always be 1. And then the other fields here, these two fields don't really apply. And then the number of decimal places to display really doesn't matter either, other than your starting position will likely be based on your club rating, and so you should put the number of decimal places that you use in your club rating, which is very likely 2. But anyways, the key thing here, and again, this is something you do once, and you never have to do it again. Just make sure you choose the calculation method of Ladder League. And while I think of it, let me just mention that the calculation method that I use to determine whether or not you go up in the ladder and who has won each round robin is based on the International Federation of Pickleball, called IFP, Standard for Calculating Round Robin Winners. So the way they do it is that the people who, of course, the person who has the most wins is the ultimate winner, but often there are tie breaks. So the first tie break would be the head-to-head matches won with the people that you're tied with. Then the second tie break would be the point differential of all games that everyone played. The third tie break is the head-to-head point differential with the people that you're tied with. And then the fourth is the point differential against the next highest team. So that's a pretty well-known and adopted standard for calculating tie breaks. And that's what SignUpHub will implement in determining who wins each court. Anyways, like I say, this is already done. This is something you'll do once, takes literally 30 seconds, pretty straightforward. We'll pop back to our list of instructions again. Point number 2 is simply to create an event type. It suggests you create one called Ladder League. And the only thing I would say here is that you might want to create 3 Ladder League event types. One for men's if you have a men's league, one for women's if you have a women's league, and then a third for mixed if you have a mixed league. If you only ever have one type of ladder league and it's always mixed, then you can just create one, call it ladder league, mixed ladder league, whatever. It doesn't really matter what the description is, but let's go and look at the event type that I set up. So again, we'll go into setup, same place we went to look for rating types, but this time we'll look at event types. And I have already created one called Mixed Ladder League, okay? And if we have a quick look at that, this short description is up to you. As I said, it can be Mixed Ladder League, whatever you want. The long description is not used. The event status is always going to be active until it's not. And then default duration in hours, that's the default length of each session in the league. Default number of hours before the event to close. We close all of our events 2 hours before. Again, this event type is the same event type that you use when you're creating normal events. It's just specific to the league. So a lot of these fields you're probably familiar with. Number of days in advance of the event date to allow sign up. We open up all of our events 7 days before, and we do that at 6 p.m. All of our events in this demonstration club will be at Pickleball Palace. The default number of participants, maximum participants, will be 70. We allow 30 on the wait list. We aren't going to filter this by age or rating or gender, so we can skip all those fields. And then this field is very important, the club rating type, okay? And this is the rating type code that we just set up, okay? So we just created one called Ladder League. That's the one that we're going to choose here. If it's not a team event, but just a round robin of individual players where you have a different team after every game, a different teammate after every game, you would just say 1 player per team. When you're docked play credits, either at check-in or sign-up, how many play credits to dock will normally be set to 1. Number of play credits to dock for no-shows, again, this is up to your club. We usually set ours to 3, but that's up to you. If we're not going to put any event type limits on this particular league event type, we can leave those fields blank. And then we're not going to display any extra information when they click the sign up button. We're just going to let it change from red to green and sign up immediately. So these last 2 prompts can be left blank. Don't display and then blank. So again, this is something that you'll set up probably once ever, or maybe 3 times if you're going to have an event type for mixed men's and women's. And then you're done with it. You don't have to do that going forward. So back to our leagues. We've done the first couple of things here. The next thing we're going to do is create a league with the applicable league event type code that we just created. Okay, so we're going to do that. It actually tells me where to go: admin, setup, leagues, ladder leagues, create, and we'll follow those instructions. So click on leagues, and then league maintenance, and then create club ladder leagues. Okay, and I've actually gone and created this ahead of time just because I wanted to sign a whole bunch of people up and get them checked in so that we can proceed without having to take the time to do those steps, because they're the same as any other event. So I'm just going to edit this just to show you what this looks like. Um, we chose the mixed ladder league event type that we just set up. So every single, sorry, this is the league. So that's, yeah, the league you only set up once per league. I was thinking of the events where you create multiple events, but um, you create, you choose the event type associated with the league. You give it a very specific description. Okay, so for every league that you run, you're going to have a brand new league that you have to create here. Unlike the rating type and the event type, which can be reused, the league itself is created brand new each time. So you'll want to give it a very specific, maybe a date specific description, just so it's clear that this league that we're setting up now is different from previous leagues that we've set up in the past. Enter the location, the status. Then you want to enter, the date range that applies to this league. The one that I'm setting up here will go from the beginning of April until the end of May. When we allow registration to open, we'll allow it to open a week before the event or the league starts. And then when we close registration, you can certainly keep registration open even after the first event. And the reason for that is you may well decide based on event attendance that you will let extra people register. Okay, so the number of people that you allow to register is likely going to be higher than the people you allow to sign up in each league event, because from week to week not everybody that's registered will be able to or be available to sign up. Okay, so for a league of 70, or sorry, for a league event of 70 people max, you might want to allow 90 or 100 maximum participants in your league so that you'll fill up each event as much as possible, taking into account people's varying schedules. Waitlist size, leave it 30. Okay, so these next couple of prompts here, 3 prompts, are very specific to leagues. The first is number of players to move up and down. Okay, so on any particular court, which is probably going to have 4 or 5 people in it, you need to decide how many people are going to move up and how many people on that court are going to move down. Okay, so your choices probably are 1 or 2. Okay, so is it the top 1 person in the court after each event's results are calculated that get to go up to the next highest court? Or are you going to allow the 2 highest people to go up to the higher court? And similarly, are you going to let the lowest ranked person in the court go down, or the lowest 2 people go down? And so that's a decision you'll make. At our club, we usually go 2 up, 2 down. It fosters more movement and it's easier to move up. Obviously, easier to move down, which is not necessarily a good thing, but there's more movement in the league, which is kind of exciting. And then this next prompt is number of positions to move down per missed event. So if somebody's unable to attend on any given week, then how many positions are we going to penalize them? Okay, so you have to decide: are you going to move them down 1 spot? This is not courts. This is spots. So if positions 1 through 5 are all in court 1, let's say, and you decide to make this drop them 1 position if they're not there, that means they could be the top ranked person on court 1, and if they miss the next week's event, they'll just get bumped down 1 spot. So they'll be in position 2 in the ladder, which means they're still going to be in the top court. By my way of thinking, you probably want to penalize people that miss events by at least a court. And so I would recommend putting in here 4 or 5 just to bump them down. Maybe a court if they miss a week, just as an incentive for everybody to attend as many weeks as possible. Okay, and then this last prompt is maximum number of players or teams per group or court. And so this will be the maximum number of people you allow in a court. Now, I'm going on the assumption that your round robin is going to be based on one court. There's no reason why your round robin can't be based on two or more courts. Um, but regardless, you want what you put in here to be the maximum number of people that can play in a single round robin group, regardless of the number of courts. In our situation, we always have a round robin um, be per court, and so it's likely going to be a 5 max. And why this is important is that when it comes time to enter the scores, Pickleball Sign Up Hub will actually force you to enter the people in the correct court order, because it needs that when it's calculating where you're going to end up in the recalculated ladder position. Okay, in normal events, if you're entering a rating session, it doesn't care what order you enter your courts in. But in a ladder league, because of the ladder positioning effect, I actually require you to enter, the top court first, enter their scores, and then the second court, and then the third court, so on and so forth. So I need to know the maximum per group so that I can limit you to that number of people when it comes time to enter scores. Anyways, we're just going to save these changes here. That's your league. Again, this is something you create a league just every time you have a new league. And as I said, in our case, we have 1 or 2 leagues a year, and each usually lasts 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere in that order. All right, so we've created the rating type, we've created the event type. Those 2 things only get done once ever, and we've now just created our league. Let's go back to our instructions. Okay, so we've done the first 3 steps, and now we're going to create our events. And this is exactly the same as creating any other normal non-league event. The only difference, as you'll see here, is that if we go to frequently used in events, and I would click on create events, but I've actually already created the first event because, like I said, I wanted to pre-sign up a bunch of people and pre-check them in. But let's go and look at it, and you'll see it's exactly the same as a non-league event. The only difference, and is this first field here. And as it says, only fill in if this is a league event. And all you're going to do here is choose the ladder league that we just set up. Okay, so every event that you create that's going to belong to this 2025 Spring Ladder League, the only thing different when you're creating events is that you choose the league that it belongs to. And by doing that, you're connecting all of these events, these league events, to this specific league. Everything else is exactly the same as before. So I won't take a whole lot of time going over this. I'll just remind you again that normally the maximum participants in each event will be smaller than the maximum number of league participants. Okay, so you need to allow more people to register in a league than can actually sign up for each individual event, just to assure that it gets as full as possible. Okay, and that's all you need on an event. So I'm just going to take a moment now to create the other events, and I'm going to do that using the event copy, because it's probably quite likely that your league events might be very consistent and therefore very copyable from week to week. So let's go ahead and click on imports and mass updates. The event copy is a mass updating program. So we'll copy events, and we're going to copy a single day. We're just going to copy the first event through to all of our other events. So let me pop over here. The first event that I created was actually from yesterday, which is April 3rd. So I'm going to click on the closed events tab, and we can see it here. It's 3 p.m. 2025 Spring Ladder League Mixed. Okay, so we're going to copy this Ladder League event from April 3rd forward to every week in April and also May. And let me show you how to do that. So we're going to choose to copy from a start date of April 3rd Okay, it's going to display all of the events that are on that date. We're going to choose the Mixer Ladder League. That's the only event we're going to copy. And we're going to copy it from the 3rd to the 10th is going to be our the first week that we're going to copy to. And then we're going to copy it all the way to the end of May. And these are all on the Thursday. So the 10th is a Thursday, the 20th of May is a Thursday, and we're only going to copy a Thursday. Okay. If you wanted to run your league every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you could do that just by choosing the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or every Tuesday, Thursday, whatever. In our case, usually leagues are once a week. Okay. I'm not going to delete any events that may exist on those dates. I'm just going to add these new events to those dates. I'm going to click on the Show Proposed New Copied Events button, and it's going to propose all of the new events. So I can see the 10th, 17th, 24th, all of the weeks in May, and these look really good. So those were our proposed new copied events, and now I'm going to click the Copy Events for Real button. Boom. 8 events copied successfully, so let's go and have a look. We will go back to the Open Events tab, and we can have a look here. So Thursday was our first one on the 3rd, but that shows up in the closed tabs because that was yesterday. But the rest of them are now showing up on the 10th. There's one. On the 17th, there's one. And every Thursday in April and May, we have these beautifully copied Ladder League events. Nice. So the reason that the first one is red is because we allow sign up only 1 week in advance. So it's red, it's sign upable. The rest of them are in black because we can't sign into them too early. So that's great. We have created all of our events. Let me go back into the admin area and back to our instructions. Okay. So as with any event, we need to have people sign up into it. And as I mentioned, I did this already. So if we go and look at the 3rd, there's 12 of 70 people signed up. That's all I'm going to worry about. 3 courts of 4 for demonstration purposes. So they're all in there. If I go and look at the event check-in, we'll just make sure they're all checked in because that's a prerequisite before we can enter the scores on leagues. It's not a prerequisite to enter scores on non-leagues, but it is for leagues. So we have this check-in that happened on April 3rd. I bet that's going to be our Ladder League, and yes, it is. Okay, there are 12 people signed up. That's great. Let's continue with check-in, and we can see with all these green check marks, they've already been checked in, which is great. Fantastic. Back to our league instructions. So everybody's signed up. They're all checked in. Now we're ready to enter the scores. Okay, frequently used, enter match scores. We're going to create our club match scores. We're going to find our April 3rd Mixed Ladder League. 12 people signed up. I think in the recording that I'm doing, select boxes don't actually open and show in the recording, which is too bad. But there is a drop down here listing all the events and the details thereof, and I found the one I wanted and chose it from the list. And so here's where that setup parameter I was talking about earlier kicks in. I said, what is the maximum people on each court or each group? And I set it to 5. And what that will do is limit the people that I can choose to enter scores for to the first 5 people in the league event. Okay, and that ensures that I enter everybody in the correct order. Court 1 followed by court 2 followed by court 3, etc. So I'm going to choose the top 4 people that were on the top court, and I'm going to enter the scores for them. I'm just going to do this real quick. I know in a court of 4 people, there's going to be 3 round robin games for everybody to play with everybody and against everybody. And I'll just do this as quickly as I can. Anita with Gordon, Anita with Ivona, and Anita with Kevin. And they're going to play Ivona and Kevin. These 2 are going to play Gordon and Kevin, and then those two are going to play Gordon and Ivona. I think that's right. So we'll just enter some scores. Let's say that Anita won all our games. Okay. And we're going to save that, and provided I didn't make any mistakes, it should save. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to go and enter the next group of scores, and so then the next 5 people in the event come up. Again, choose the next 4, and we're going to do the same thing as quickly as I can. I might edit some of this out. We'll see. Okay, 11, 1, 6, 8. Save that, and then we'll go and do our last court of 3 courts. The last 4 people come up. Enter the game scores, 3 rows. Oops. Okay, we'll save that. Boom. Okay, so now we've entered the scores for all of our 3 courts, and we're going to go back to our instructions to see what's next. Leagues. Okay, enter the scores. We just did that. Now we're going to have the system process the just entered scores to calculate everyone's new order in the league ladder. Before we did do that, I'm just going to pop over into the event that we just scored, which is this guy here. And we're just going to have a look at it to see what we can see. So we just entered the game scores, right? So we would assume that if we click on game scores, we would see them. And here they are. Great. And if we enter ladder groups, what will we see there? Boom. Okay, it has ranked everybody based on their wins, head-to-head wins, total point differential, and all of these tie breaks. So it has ranked all of these people. That is great. If we click on the recalculated ladder, nothing there. Okay, and that's because we haven't taken our final step. But I wanted to show you that as soon as we've entered the game scores, they're there. As soon as we've entered the game score, it also does the calculation of each court. But now there's a program we need to run just to reorder the entire ladder. And that is this guy here. Have the system process that just entered scores to calculate everyone's new order in the ladder. So admin leagues, calculate new league ladder order. Calculate new ladder order. Here we go. So this is going to ask us for the event. Again, this is a drop down that you're not going to see, but in this list at the very top, there's our April 3rd Mixed Ladder League, signed up 12. I'm going to choose that, and then I'm going to click on the Calculate New Ladder Order button. Okay, boom. And here it goes, and it calculates the new ladder positioning of everybody in the ladder league. Okay, and so what happens is then that these 2 people were the winners of court 1. Okay, so there's still 1 and 2, obviously. These next 2 people, because we said move 2 up, 2 down, they actually came from court 2, but now they've moved up into positions 3 and 4, so they bumped up a court. Okay, then we have this Mary Lou Blackwell. She was actually not, she didn't attend, which is why there's no group here. She wasn't here and also this Bart Anime also didn't attend that event. So two people didn't attend the event. So they actually get to go where they were based on their club rating. So if we look at Mary Lou Blackwell, her previous rank was 1, okay? And we told the system to bump them down 4 positions if they don't attend, and that's why she is now has a final rank of 5. Anime Bart also wasn't there. Her previous rank was 8. She was also bumped down 4 positions, so she's now in position 12. And all the other people kind of just wrap around them into their correct position. So Ivona Almeida, she used to be in court 1, but she finished in 3rd place. So now she's the top spot of court 2. Same with Kevin Graber. He was 2nd on the top court, so now he's in position 7. So if everybody comes, then the top 4 people, if you're going to put 4 in a court, will be court 1, and the next 4 people will be court 2 on the 2nd week, okay, and so on and so forth. So the program does all this calculation for you. Now that we've run this program, we can actually go over and run, look at our recalculated ladder tab. And again, this page, this event sign up list page is available to all users, okay, so that everybody can come and see the scores, the groups, and also the recalculated ladder. And here you go. You can see that they can see the same thing we saw in the recalc program, the new rank, the original ranks of where they used to be. And here's this Mary Lou Blackwell who used to be position 1, now 5, and the number of spots they moved. Okay, oops, let me go and sort them back by rank again. So you can see how many positions they moved up or down. So 3 means they moved up 3, minus 4 means they moved down 4. So you can quickly see what happened to the ladder from week to week. And the cool thing about this report, which you'll run at the very end of the ladder league, is you can sort it by the number of spots that moved. Okay, so this person here, this Raleigh Alcroft, they actually moved up 6 spots. So if you're going to hand out an award to the person who moved the most, this would be your winner. Okay, and if you want to just award a prize to the top person in the whole league, that would be this Anita Andrews, based on 1 week's play. Of course, this is going to change over all of your league events, but the premise is the same. After each event, everything gets recalculated, and you can look at the new information. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Back into the admin area here. So after we've run this calculate new ladder order program, we can actually, if we choose to, although I don't know of too many reasons why, except for one, which I'll mention shortly, you can run this reorder ladder manually program, okay? And again, I'm going to choose from a drop down that you can't see, the April 3rd Mixed Ladder League, and it will show me everybody and their current order in the league, okay? If I want to change their order, I can simply drag and drop them. So let's say, this Ben Anderson, they finished last, but for some unknown reason, I'm going to bump them up to the top of the list. I can do that. And then click save. I'm not going to do that, but you can manually reorder people. Where this likely comes into play is if people register for the league after the first week, maybe after 2 or 3 weeks, they register. By default, they'll be put at the very bottom of the ladder, okay? If you rerun this program, this calculate new ladder order, which I would recommend right before each event, then it will pick up those newly registered people and you won't have to reorder them. It'll just put them where they are based on their club rating. But you could then, after that, come in here and drag them up or down and put them where you think they belong. But otherwise, if they've been playing, in the ladder, just let the system do its thing and it will reorder people in the proper order. This ladder league report is the same report that we saw from the event listing from the user perspective. It's the same thing, where you can see everybody. There's some other prompts here, or at least this one other column, which is unhidden in this view. If you want to select or sort on gender, you can do that. Sometimes clubs may want to have a female winner and a male winner, um, and if you want to do that, you can use that filter or sort. So you can sort any of these columns. You can filter by any of these columns. If you want to see just the women, you can choose just the women. If you want to see the men, you can choose just the men. So yeah, pretty cool report. Select all, number of spots moved. Again, same as from the other perspective. All right. I'm just checking my notes here to see if there was anything else that I wanted to show. Oh yeah. So that's great. That was week number 1. Okay, everybody's been recalculated in this new order. Anita Andrews and Gordon Barden are the first couple. If we then go and sign up these two people, I'm just going to take a screenshot of this order so that I can just make sure that what I'm about to tell you is true. If we go back to event sign up and we go to the open events and we click into the second league event, okay, I never registered for this league initially, okay, and so I have configured an option here to be on that allows me to register into the league and sign up into the event I've just chosen all in one go. And I think that's what most clubs do. And that just ensures I don't have to go somewhere else to register, which is a possibility. But with this feature turned on, I can register and sign up at the same time. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And so now I'm going to join the league and sign into this event. And I'm going to view this. Okay. And so here we have a bunch of people. As I said, am going to be at the bottom of the list because my rank is 999. Now, I'm really curious. Let's just pop over to ladder leagues, and I'm going to rerun the calculate new ladder order program because I'm thinking that will actually change my rank from 999 and put me where I should be in the ladder based on my club rating, if all goes well. So I'm going to choose the first event. I'm going to calculate the new league order, and I'm going to see that I am way down in position 15. Oh, and that's because, actually I don't know why that is. Oh, that's because my club rating is 0.00. I apparently don't have a club rating in this system. So that's why it put me at the bottom. As I said before, I can go and change my position manually. Let's go ahead and do that. Choose my event, and I'm going to bump myself up, say there, somewhere right in the middle of the pack. I'm going to save it. It kind of tells me what has changed, and that's fine. And then I'm going to go back over into the event again, and I'm going to use my club admin powers. And I'm going to sign up a bunch of people. So only club admins see this show sign up buttons function. And so I'm going to say yes. And that allows me just to sign up a whole bunch of people here on their behalf. So I'm just going to go randomly sign up some people until we have, I don't know, about 12. So we have 12. That's good. I'm going to reload the page, and here we go. So you can see now that as a result of me manually moving myself up my starting position, even though this is my very first week, I'm now in position 7, and that's probably where I should have been, regardless of the fact that I have no club rating. And so that's where I'll be for next week. So as people sign up into subsequent league events, they will, as soon as they sign up, be shown their newly calculated rank as well based on the results of the previous league event. So this is what they would see. Of course, on the second event here, none of these tabs are going to show anything because we haven't entered scores for the second event yet. But that gives you a good idea, I think, of how everything works. That's all I can think of to tell you for now. Until next time, take care. Bye for now.